If you were born before 1966, your state pension could be changing in 3 different ways: when you get it, how much you get, and how much tax you pay on it. And one of those changes could leave you with a gap of several months where no state pension is coming in at all. So do not skip a second of this. Here is what we are going to cover. 3 things: your pension age, your pension amount, and the tax trap that is catching more pensioners every year. And then I will show you one extra claim at the end that could be worth thousands. Let's get into it. First, the date problem, because this is the one that can wreck your retirement plan if you get it wrong. The age you can start claiming your state pension is rising from 66 to 67, and it is being phased in right now over about 2 years. And here is the catch. Your exact pension age depends on precisely when you were born, sometimes right down to the month. If you were born around 1960 or 1961, do not guess your date, because this is exactly where people get caught. A few months either side of your birthday can change when your payments start. And if you have planned around the wrong date, you may suddenly have to cover several months with savings, with work, or with a private pension. So please, do not rely on what a friend told you. Go to gov.uk, search for Check Your State Pension Age, and get your exact date. I will put the link in the description. The reassuring part is this. Under the current timetable, people born before 1966 are not part of the later rise to 68. But that does not mean you should guess your date. If you were born around 1960 or 1961, even a few months can change when your payments begin. And let me show you why getting it right matters so much. Imagine you were born in the middle of 1960. You may have spent years assuming you would get your pension at 66 and planned to stop work then. But under the new timetable, it might not actually start until 66 and a half or later. That is potentially 6 months or more with no state pension coming in. It is far better to know about a gap like that now, while you still have time to plan for it, than to discover it the week you were planning to retire. Now, knowing when you get paid is one thing, but the next question is even more important. Are you getting the right amount? And this is where many people make the biggest mistake. They hear the headline figure and assume that is what they will personally get. So, let's start with the good news. Thanks to the triple lock, the state pension went up by 4.8% this April. In real money, that added around £575 a year to the full new state pension, taking it to £241.30 a week, which is just over £12,500 a year. So the amount is rising, and it is already landing in payments. But here is something that catches a huge number of people out. Not everyone gets that full headline figure. A great many people get less, and they have no idea why. Your state pension is based on your national insurance record, the qualifying years you built up across your working life, and you usually need around 35 years for the full new pension. So picture someone who took a few years out to raise their children, then later cared for an elderly parent, and worked part-time here and there in between. They may well assume they have a full record, but when they finally check, they find missing years they never knew about, and those gaps can mean a lower pension for the rest of their life. And it gets worse, because this next part is uncomfortable. Did you know the government has actually admitted that some groups of pensioners were underpaid their state pension for years? It particularly affected some married women, some widows, and some people over the age of 80, often because of errors in how their records were handled. Many have had to be paid back thousands of pounds. So here is the uncomfortable truth. Just because the money is arriving every 4 weeks does not automatically mean the amount is right. The single most valuable thing you can do is check your state pension forecast. Or if you are already claiming, check your award on gov.uk. It shows you exactly what you are getting, what you are on track to get, and whether you have any gaps. And in some cases, those gaps can be filled to boost your pension, though it genuinely is not right for everyone. So always check your forecast first. Look into any free national insurance credits you might be owed, and speak to the free Future Pension Centre before you ever pay a penny. And now comes the part that annoys people the most, because your pension can go up and you can still end up feeling worse off. Here is why. It is tax. The amount you can earn before you pay any income tax, your personal allowance, has been frozen, and it is set to stay frozen for years. Meanwhile, the state pension keeps rising every April, and those two numbers have now almost met, with the full new state pension sitting only about £20 below the tax threshold. So here is what that means in practice. Say you get the full state pension, and you also have a small private pension of, say, a couple of £1,000s a year. That extra income pushes you over the threshold, and you would start paying income tax on the amount above it, sometimes for the very first time in your life. Nothing about your situation got more comfortable. The pension simply rose to meet a tax line that was standing still. So if that sounds like you, it is well worth checking your tax code and making sure HMRC has your pension income recorded correctly. Because a wrong tax code is one of the most common ways people quietly overpay tax without ever realizing. Now, we have covered when you can claim, how much you should be getting, and the tax trap. But I promised you one more, the one that is worth thousands. And this next one is the reason I always tell people, never assume you are not entitled. Check first, decide later. It is pension credit. This is a top-up for people over state pension age on a lower income, and it went up in April too. It is now worth, on average, around £4,300 a year to the people who receive it. Just let that sink in. And yet, staggeringly, more than a third of the pensioners entitled to it never claim, leaving billions of pounds unclaimed every single year. The reason people miss out is heartbreakingly simple. They assume they will not qualify. They think they earn too much, or they own their home, or they have a little put by in savings, so they never even check. And very often, that assumption is completely wrong, because the calculation is far more generous than people expect. And here is why it matters so much. Pension credit is a gateway. Even a small award can unlock or make you eligible for help with your council tax, your heating costs, your NHS costs, and a free TV licence if you are over 75. So a small weekly amount can end up being worth far more than it first appears. There is a free, anonymous calculator on gov.uk that tells you in minutes whether it is worth applying. If there is any chance at all that you or someone you know might qualify, please go and check it. If you want the links and checks in one place, my guide, Get What You're Owed, is linked below. So, if you were born before 1966, here is the honest truth. The worst time to discover a pension problem is the week you expected the money to arrive. So, do not leave this as something you will get around to one day. Check your date, check your amount, and check pension credit. One of those three could change your retirement more than you think. And if you know someone born before 1966, share this with them, because most people have no idea half of this even applies to them.